Welcome to the Industry 4.0 Fire Club's Fireside Chat. The club's purpose is to engage the power of worldwide diverse talent to accelerate the global evolution to Industry 4.0. We accomplish this by hosting and supporting respectful, thoughtful, and interdisciplinary open conversations and creating quality content on wide-ranging Industry 4.0 topics to expand the reach of our community. My name is Mike Ungar, and I am the CEO of the Industry 4.0 Club. I have over 40 years of leadership and experience, with most of that being in manufacturing at Michelin. We're really excited today because our broadcast today is a joint broadcast with the C4I4 lab located in Pune, India, and that's the Center for Industry 4.0. My co-host today is Ankita Sharma. She's the marketing business lead for the lab. We're really glad to be doing this broadcast with you. Ankita, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the lab and introduce our guests?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. My name is Ankita Sharma, and I serve as a marketing business lead at C4I4 Lab. The Center for Industry 4.0 Lab was established by Ministry of Heavy Industries, Government of India. It's a premier initiative based out of Pune. It functions as a national hub for awareness, training, and implementation of Industry 4.0 solutions, where it enables the manufacturing sector of India to transition towards smart, paperless, and sustainable factories. Today, we will start the conversation with the foundational topic, digital transformation in manufacturing sector. And it's my privilege to welcome our esteemed guest today, the senior advisor from C4I4 Lab, Mr. Krishna Bhojkar. With over 3 decades of experience in manufacturing sector, Mr. Bhojkar has led projects exceeding 8,000 crore in investment, showcasing expertise in planning, plant maintenance, project management, and pilot halls. He has played a pivotal role at Volkswagen and TATA across both greenfield and brownfield projects. He has made a significant contributions to sustainability initiations, and he has conceptualized and brought to life the concept of iFactory model in India. And now we are across 10 centers, and he has trained more than 5,000 industry professionals on smart factory and Industry 4.0 practices. Welcome to Fireside Chat, sir.
Thank you, Ankita. And hi, Mike. It's a privilege to be there on this podcast with you. Yeah,
it's great to see you and great to have you here. So, Krishna, you've spent over 30 years in manufacturing with global giants like Volkswagen and Tata. Can you share your perspective on how manufacturing has evolved and just thinking about those days 30 years ago to where we are today in this era of digital transformation?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I still remember those days in 1991. I was doing my engineering, and that was the time where, during that era, India started opening its economy. So the journey actually for India started from there. And it was some time that I graduated in 92, and I had a couple of other jobs before I joined Tata Motors. So I'll start with Tata Motors. I joined in 1996. And during that time in India, such a big plant was never envisaged. So we had to put up a plant for 500 cars a day. And the manufacturing, especially, as you know, people looked it as a flat plane. So you have supplier on one side, and then there's a demand or a customer on the other side. You start buying the components, do the component assemblies or fabrication, whatever it is, and at the end that you are able to deliver. This was basic concept, and then the issue started coming in terms of how do we design or how do we ensure that the control systems are in place, because manufacturing 500 cars per day, it meant that you had a cycle time hardly of 2 minutes. So it had to be a system wherein a lot of controls had to be in place. That was the time where just PLCs had started coming in. So one portion I'm just explaining you from a plant perspective, and second started from the product itself. As I said, in 91, when government started opening, the products also were much more earlier generation in India. But with the opening of economy, we started getting new products also in India. So you had new products which are much more better, cheaper, and at a reliable things. So you had to ensure all the things were put in your plant to build. So that means you needed to have a system which is in a position to ensure that all these KPIs are also met. So it took us a long time to ensure how we are going to design. And the fact was that, yes, we had envisaged about, as I said, 500 cars per day, which would later on go to 1000 cars in a day. And the whole project we started was from drawing on a tracing paper. So we didn't have the, let's say, yeah, even AutoCAD was not there at that time. So 96 in India, it was a bit tough time. So I remember those days where I literally had drawn with my hands and pencil the layouts. But the best effect was that it made me recollect and be sure what I'm drawing. And
Yes.
that layout I still can't remember, still can't forget. It was
Yes.
embedded in my system now. So that was the beauty of that. From there on, the whole journey started, and slowly we started understanding that the cause and effect of what happens. So what happens when the supplier quality goes down, what happens when we have issues in
Yes.
our maintenance, what happens when the issues from one or the other shop starts. Like body shop, you develop something and then we have problem in the assembly shop, and at the end of the chain, the whole gamut of the things have to start working. That means for the first crank, the vehicle has to start, and we had those issues. So functionality was a big issue. Then came the next generation of the cars as well as next step. So when we went for new generation of vehicles, the whole drawing board was literally empty and we had to start from the scratch. And that time in India, we started looking from a perspective of digitization. So the product digitization was the first aspect which was looked into. So the whole
Yes.
car was designed in the systems. CAD CAM was available, PDM PLM was available, and then we brought planning systems also. So we had a complete simulation package. That was the first time when. So it was roughly about in 2002 or 2003,
Right.
where my whole plant started becoming digitized, and we were able to sit on the laptops, or let's say the desktops or these workstations, and able to plan the whole car and see the simulations, what will happen. And the simulations
Yes.
went to the next level of understanding how my supply chain is going to work. So in short, we started understanding the impact of our planning on the supply chains also. So
Yes.
slowly from product design, that the whole chain started, it landed up in us ensuring that our manufacturing facilities are upgraded to ensure that the kind of product which we want to build now, that also is upgraded. And as the speed started coming up, we also started involving the maintenance people and understanding what are their issues, how are they able to tackle, what should we do. So we realized that yes, the data collection or understanding what is happening in our shops becomes the primary important thing. So
That's
visibility
yeah.
of the shop floor. We had earlier the andons which were 7 segment and kind of things, and from there we graduated to TVs, or let's say not smart
That's
TVs as of now, but the earlier generations, where the
that's quite
visibility of the start. Sorry,
yeah, it's
you were
quite a
saying
journey.
something.
It's quite a journey when you talk about that. It makes me think about
Yeah,
having to use a mechanical pencil and a quadrille pad to
yeah,
draft some ideas on where the machine should go, to Silamog to control our equipment, which is pneumatic controls, not electronic controls. So things have,
absolutely.
you described that evolution. And then, like
Yes,
you mentioned in 2002, the computerization of the plant, from the paper at least to computers now. No, it's a very interesting journey that you're describing.
absolutely. And this journey has two aspects to it. Number one is, since we had done all this planning ourselves, we knew what we should look for and how we should plan. So when the next step came in, when the computers came in, we had an extremely good understanding about when we have these tools, how are we going to use them. So I think that was a inflection point for me to understand the real use of technology. So technology enables you to do faster, cheaper, easier, simpler, those kind of things we were able to actually put in practice, because we had already had a lot of experience in terms of ensuring that whatever we do, we think through. So when we started using the digital tools, it was much more easier for us. And with the hands-on experience of this, the facility planning, the real-time data collection, then end-to-end
Hmm.
visibility of the plant, and integration of different shops together, and understanding the interdependencies became much more easier. So
Yeah,
I'll give a
good
short
point.
example that when we had to design the cockpit assembly systems, because we didn't have space, it had to go out with the supplier. The impact was that we'll have to define what exactly cockpit the supplier has to build. So we had to break down the bill of materials, send it to him. So every
Yes.
car we had to know. We had to also plan our sequences correctly. So we had to have
Okay.
advanced sequence planning. So this
Which
kind
it-
of started coming in, which ensured
Yeah.
that you are able to control the production. So it was earlier, I would say, a reactive approach, and slowly we started becoming as a proactive company, that we wanted to control what happens in our plants.
That's a great comment. I remember, I mentioned my experience at Michelin. I remember producing a production plan and running as many tires as we could without knowing what's going on the market.
Yeah.
And of course, that evolution today, now we produce to what the demand is, not to just as many as we can. So.
Correct.
Ankita, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you a question, sir. Today, when I go to the market, I get a lot of questions like, where does the digital journey start? So for our audience and for the people and the new manufacturers who are actually struggling and facing these industry challenges, if we can simplify this concept in a very simple term, like what exactly is digital transformation? So we are not looking for the jargons. We are just looking at a very simple aspect for a traditional manufacturer. If I want to upgrade my technologies, if I want to upscale, what is a digital transformation for me? How can I understand this concept in a very simple term?
A good question, but it's very difficult to answer in a couple of minutes. Let me be very frank with that. To make it very simplistic, any action that you are doing or any transaction that you are doing in your company, we have certain systems. So like say I have got ERP, I have got CRM, SRM, or planning systems or R&D systems which are doing defining. These are siloed systems. So today, if you look at any of the companies, there are multiple siloed systems available. In addition to that, we are also having certain workflows. So we are transferring information from one department to other, or we are handing over papers, let's say. So to make it easy, we are handing out papers. So there are two things that we have observed. One, we have silos within the departments, and at the end, we have next step, which is coming the business process flows. So these two are distinct and they are divided at the moment. So bringing these two things together and ensuring that the interconnections between them happens together, and the flow of information, flow of the product, and flow of any aspect that you are doing within the factory of any actions that is captured digitally, will enhance, or let's say get you into digital transformation mode. Okay, is it so difficult to start? The answer is no. There are steps within that. So it is not that it is so difficult. We put difficulty because we start from the top down. That is, we see the whole picture. Oh my God, I have to have let's say I have a plant which is about one shop is, let's say, 30,000 square meters. So if I want to digitize, I'll get confused. So we need to start it bottom up. That means we need to look at how the designs of the equipments are done, what kind of sensory mechanisms have been involved, do I have PLC or capability to fetch data from that. This is a very, very important and a very classical stage where most of the companies don't do. So if you are able to have that, your information from the equipments is fetched. And nowadays the RPA or any workflow solutions are much more cheaper to adopt and implement. So can I connect different systems together? That is possible. So these two areas, I think, are distinct and step by step need to be followed in any of the companies. And as I said, workflow also starts giving you a huge amount of information as to where the problem is, what is stuck in which department for how many days. These insights were earlier not available. We are only looking at production, but production is one portion of the story. Workflow between the organization or workflow between departments, this siloed is what we will try to break. So these two parallelly need. Yeah, Mike, you were saying something.
Yeah, I hear you talking about really needing to develop a strategy almost, rather than just fixing a siloed problem. You mentioned you started talking about silos, but it seems like what you're saying is part of digital transformation is really having a strategy and starting with understanding really what's going on in your factory first. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So when she said that how people start, so they have to start bottom small portions. understand and then bring it to the top, saying that, okay, now I am getting that, okay, my equipments are getting smarter. Now I start putting the digital strategy from top, because in India or anywhere else, we have PLCs within the company, we have the sensors, so we have understanding of that. And now we need to start from the top, saying that, okay, I have a strategy to ensure that I cut across all the departments, number one. And I also need to look at my supply side as well as my demand side. So today, our bigger issue is that we are looking only within, that's a vertical integration. But I need to do a horizontal integration also. I need to connect my supply chain. I also need to understand my demand side. This is a very important. These are things which can be done simultaneously. So there are softwares available, SRM for example, so supply relationship management. We have a clear understanding about how or what the supplier is in a position to. So you have what are your demands, how they need to produce, when they need to send. This integration is becoming much more easier. So there are steps, and the other side is for the demand. The demand side becomes always a big challenge, because then you have a huge population. So it depends on the kind of product that we are manufacturing.
Yeah.
So having a view of the market is a next challenge.
So why is this? So I know with the topic of digital transformation, why is this an urgent topic today for manufacturers? Why should manufacturers even pay attention?
Yeah, it's very pertinent, because slowly the issue or real problems that we are having is that we are crushed from multiple sides. That's in manufacturing. One, you have a changing customer demands, you have competition which is coming in, there are geopolitical situation because of which a lot of supply chain is getting disturbed. With all these things coming in, a lot of uncertainties are cropping in. And in addition to that, you didn't have had a control over the entire value chain within your company. This anomaly is something which we are in a position to take care by digital transformation, because the impact of any variation that is happening, that is something which we are able to envisage, understand the impact, do the corrective actions, bring resilience in our systems. So right now it is more and more important that we do the digital transformation steps urgently. We have had certain cases. For example, we take a simple case of, let's say, maintenance. Digitization of maintenance and ensuring that the asset availability is improved has given companies almost 30 to 40% relief.
Yes.
They have ensured that the equipments are available for production. On the supply side, the resiliency has been able to improve. You know what suppliers are in a position to produce, what are their constraints, which are the issues that we are likely to have, what is the actual delivery or logistical issues which we are going to have, basis which companies are in a position to schedule or reschedule their plans to still ensure that the plants are kept running. And that has also enabled them to bring down the waiting times. So I think these small activities pile up and enable you to bring to a next level in the productivity improvements. Earlier, we used to, let's say, do Kaizen. People used to go to the shop floor. Once in a while, you take a reading, and then the improvements are done. And then it is forgotten. Again, you do it maybe 6 months down the line or 7 months down the line. With the digital tools, you are in a position to know exactly where your problem is, what type of issue, whether it's ergonomic, it's a quality issue, or process issue. This we are able to analyze and understand, basis which we are able to find solutions. So labor productivity or improvement from that aspect also is giving us a huge amount of, let's say, potentials. Quality.
Yes.
So any issue within the process itself, with the digital tools, let's say the vision based systems, we are able to find at the right time and not wait till when the car goes to, let's say, the rework area. So we don't have to wait. So we have a chance to do the rework within the passing line itself. So that brings down a substantial amount of cost which is involved in rework.
So so you're saying that factories need to do this really because that to improve reliability and quality and productivity. Am I right in just in summarizing
Absolutely.
that?
Exactly. So These all
Ankita, do
aspects we are
you?
able to bring, and resilience is something which is coming as one of the key topics, where with
Okay.
changing scenarios, are you able to respond to the market? So our response is becoming better.
Yes. Good.
And in order to handle all these problems and the changes, not exactly the problems, but the upgradation and the changes, what exactly are the foundational technologies that we are talking about when we are saying integration and digital transformation?
Yeah, the basic foundational for manufacturing standpoint, it will be IIoT, or let's say we start with from PLC, because currently the PLC and on top the SCADA system need to be there. So you need to get visibility within the camp. So when I come from the top, I need to have visibility within my shop floor. That is my first requirement. I need to understand what is happening, and I need to understand it on real time basis. That is my
Okay.
first step. So once I understand, so IoT plays the most crucial role. And two other aspects which I will cover is, one is the actuation technology, and second is the sensor technologies. Actuation,
Okay.
because actuators are becoming smarter. Let's like motor, so I can get temperature, vibration, and many other parameters linked with that, current, so on. So I'm able to find out what is happening with my motor, which is a mission critical, or let's say the conveyor has to run. So what is happening, those things enable me to take my plant to the next level. And quality, as I covered, so vision system. So these
Okay.
areas, plant does the work. They're able to come out of a lot of the major issues at this moment.
But what kind
Good.
of hardware technology are we talking here, sir? When we are talking about we should have a visibility of the data, what kind of hardware technology and what sort of investments are we looking at?
For IoT, we will be requiring to invest on a couple of things. Number one, as I said, the sensors which are required to go on the equipment where I'm able to fetch data, because essentially the digital transformation will start looking at data itself. So that is a foundational layer for anything. If you have data, then you can analyze, then you can put AI on top, so on and so forth. So I need to have sensors at critical areas where it's a, let's say I have got a motor, so I need to have what is the RPM of the motor, what is the temperature of the motor, what is the current drawn, what is the voltage right now, how much time it has been running, so on and so forth. With this data, I'm able to do the next level. So this is one portion. Second is to have PLC which aggregates this data and gives that data to the next level. So I have a gateway. So I need to have a gateway which will integrate my OT, because this portion which I explained, motor, PLC, up to that level we consider as the operations technology. From that portion, I will have a gateway in between which will transfer this data to the IT systems. So you'll have a database somewhere where we can dump. So these critical items are absolutely mandatory for doing the digital transformation of the factory. This is, as I said, one level. So if you look at the other levels, let's say business level integration, what do? I need to connect systems. So I need to create workflows. So I need to have RPS. So robotic process automation could be, or certain softwares which are in a position to connect different siloed systems together. So this is the next level. So I need to see business and OT and IT moving together across my company. Then I'll see the value, and then I'll see where my problems are. And then I'm able to react, or let's say bring changes where I see potentials for improvements. So the first, as I said, manufacturing technology, as I explained, that covers OT and IT both together. For IT, it
Yeah.
becomes very important because you need to understand, when you connect so many items into your system, you need to have a cyber security on top. That
Yeah.
becomes absolute mandatory. Yeah, so you
Uh,
can't be shut because you have segregation between the IT and OT also with the firewall. So cyber security becomes a very, very basic thing which has to be there, without which you can't operate. So
yeah.
components of all the transformation is what I'm trying to explain here. Yeah, I hope
So
that answers.
what?
Yeah.
No, that's very good. So you described sort of the foundational technologies. What are some of the reasons or some of the hurdles manufacturers are facing in getting started on this journey? Because I don't know. I know here in the United States, I'll speak for that. A lot of our
Yeah.
small and mid-sized companies aren't moving nearly fast enough in the
Yeah.
adoption of Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing.
Absolutely. There are multiple reasons. One of them is their own mindset. So somehow the things which we did the assessments, we found that they fear that, saying that, okay, when we go for the IT, then we'll have to pay a huge amount of money. So the initial capex or capital expenditure is much more higher than compared to the kind of ROI which I want to. So the payback could be as long as 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. This is one of the topics which we have seen, and which is true. So because if these companies do not have the IT involved or IT laid down, so you don't have connections within the factory at all, so there is no network. So it's like kind of initial investments on the infrastructure which has to be done. You don't have
Yes.
server, so this anyway you have to do. So the fundamental problem starts there. So this mindset is what I try to break up, saying that infrastructure you deal separately, because that is on a longer period of time, and you will have to slice these things over, let's say, 5 years. That is the payback which the infrastructure will have. But the smaller areas, like as I said, changing your actuators or changing the sensors and PLCs, these are going to give you much more faster returns, because now you have an in-depth understanding how much time did my machine actually run, when I have to do the maintenance, when it was running, was it actually, let's say I take an example of my CNC machine shop. So the actual machine shop adds value only when physically it is going to cut. The machine is in standby mode, it is powered up, but not working doesn't add value. So I am able to find out actually how much time my machine was working and delivering value to me. This delta, if you take in any of the SMEs today, is very, very high, because we start with, let's say I have to start my factory at 7 o'clock. I get a visibility, did the machine start cutting at 7 o'clock? Point. And then we'll find that most of the companies say, no, I now, when I put IoT, I realize that for first 15 minutes people are doing nothing. The machines
Yes.
are down. Yeah, they were just loitering around, and they have just started something, but the machine is not cutting. That means the value add, which is supposed to be, let's say, 7.5 hour, 8 hour, whatever you do, 100% of that time are you able to hit? That adds an immediate impact. One. Second, they have a fear of saying that, okay, now the operators or people think now everything becomes visible to the management, so I don't want it. So this is one jugglery which we are in India especially, we are trying to solve it. We are also trying to show that, okay, since the productivity improvement is there, also linked to that the payment or could be improved. So you try to focus on productivity. That is something which really changes the things for you as well. That is one very, very important thing. The third thing which we have identified is that equipment from various suppliers are there. So one is running on Siemens controller, one is on Fanuc, one is on this, one is on that, and there was no strategy earlier. So whatever is cheap, you just buy it. And now, if you want to digitize, the OT is literally a nightmare, because I need to have a system which can connect with everything. But
Yes.
now, slowly, there are a lot of software which are available, which are able to effectively connect. I will not say the entire suite of data will be available to you, but you can start off with that. So as you realize certain savings, then you can put those backs and improvise on these topics again. That is the next step. So for me, IT OT integration, the criticality has not been understood. So this is one area where they really fall flat. Second, which we look at is that, okay, is IT and all this smart manufacturing going to come in? Yes, it is going to come in. There is no realization of that. That means in 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you are still going to run your factory, and you will be outpaced or having a competition from a company who is using IoT and would have already put AI on top of it. So you are out of business anyway. So if
Yes.
you take the actions now, you anyway will be out of business. So that is how we are slowly starting to do it. The
Well,
last
just
point is looking at the due diligence. The problem is
yes.
that people started doing something, and they did a lot of quick things, and later on then realized we didn't get actions because in-depth analysis was not done. Maybe the digitization was done on certain thing where the payback was much more longer. So the quick wins or effective areas where there are bigger pain points were not solved. So the due diligence was missing. So these are, let's say,
Yeah.
of clubbed activities or issues which we find. So slowly, step
Well, I
by
can,
step, trying to take them through to resolve
yeah,
this.
I can say with confidence that the issues are similar in North America as well. So
People are
Yeah.
people. So anyway, we'll have to do exactly with the very, very similar problems everywhere. And
yeah,
I'm sure that yes, since you have been also, so you'll find very, very typically the same issues is what, yeah.
yeah,
And mindset change for this becomes the crux. So
yes,
as what Ankita said, my main task for training so many people is to look at changing your mindset. That is where the whole thing starts. As I said, I used to tell during my earlier days also, you do work twice. One, you do it in your mind, and then it comes in the physical action somewhere. So first, anyway, it has to be done on mind. So we have to work on mind first.
very good.
Yeah.
Go
So,
ahead.
can you share a very good use case or a disruptive use case that you have seen in your experience or anywhere around the world, which you can share with our audience?
Yeah.
That has the most impact in this digital transformation,
Ah,
journey.
absolutely. I have gone through this. So, visible factory. I think that's the first and thing which absolutely has changed the way people behave and the way people react. The classic example is especially from car manufacturing, because in car manufacturing we have those huge and-on boards where you are able to see what is happening on your line, how much times have you stopped, and plan versus actual. So how much was plan that you're supposed to, let's say you're supposed to produce 100 cars till that point, particular point of time, and you have done only 98 cars. So the operators knew that I'm 2 cars short, so because they also know that the productivity and the bonuses are linked with that. Now, slowly they started changing, saying that they will start the line on time. They will be on the station on time. They will ensure that the tools are available for them before the line starts. They will also ensure that the material is there. This kind of small things really started triggering there that if I want to ensure my bonus is hit, I have to ensure that numbers on the board, plan versus actual, has to be same. And to hit that, what are the things that I need to do? This mindset started changing, and this is the first step which I have seen in any activity, that people start taking ownership and start driving their stations. So if maintenance is having a problem, they will phone, they will call, they will be behind that. I need to have my equipment in running condition because I need to deliver. And they understand the importance of that. That I think is was one of the breakthroughs, and we have seen. And it happened that they also surpassed. That means they ensured that, like, we have overspeed overrun. So we have, let's say, 5% given to maintenance. So anything can happen. So we usually use the overspeed. Mike might be knowing that. So most of the times we
So, by
find that they are this 5%, they didn't allow the breakdowns to happen. So actually, from production, they were supposed to do, let's say, 200, they will deliver 210 because no downtime. That is the beauty. So they are ensuring that 100% of the time is used for production, and they are able to deliver. And this ownership, that is the main change which we saw. This ownership is coming.
So
So
basically,
the,
by visible factory, we mean that
the concept
through
is
dashboards. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. So I start understanding the impact of what is happening right now,
right,
and I
right, right.
also understand the impact of that on my bonus or my salary or on the company, or this whole chain of events is there. It's not only one small dashboard; it's a big chain of events behind that.
So they can
That's
see the ripple
fantastic.
effect. Yeah.
Absolutely, and they start demanding, or they start pushing. So proactiveness. So from reactive, they start becoming proactive. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah. No, that and you begin to empower them. And they don't ask for permission. They just begin to act when they know what to do because they have the visibility. No, that's
Absolutely.
excellent. So we've been speaking for about 35 minutes now with Krishna Bhojkar, and as we wrap up this discussion, this wonderful discussion about digital transformation, Krishna, do you have a final thought you want to share with our audience today?
Yeah, two, three things. One, I covered already, mindset. So it's a leadership which has to really shake themselves up, challenge the status quo which they are in, look into how I create a culture of change within my company, and start driving this changes small, effectively, small, step by step. It is the leadership onus that they have to drive the change. We don't. So this is something which we have to inculcate in ourselves. That is number one. Second, there have to be small gains which are coming up, and they have to be shown to the people and ensure that people are understanding that their activities or their actions lead to the improvements. And the management has to take some time, because nowadays with the digitization, the other side of negative side of the digital, there's too much information. So you are getting a lot of garbage, you are having overload of information. So I find that the same thing started happening. So there are a lot of, like, every day you're working and we are doing only firefighting. So that conceptually, if we need to bring ourselves to solving, we need to give time for deep thought or deep work. Unfortunately, the management doesn't give time for deep work. So this base deep thinking is what I miss. Hence, I said the due diligence as how I'm
Mhm.
going to approach or what strategy I have. This thinking has not been completely, and that is one of the major areas which I see as a big delta within the top management.
Great. Well, thank you. So,
Hmm.
both Keita and I would like to thank you, Krishna, for joining us to share your insights into the journey of digital transformation in manufacturing.
Thank you very
It's
much.
been wonderful to hear your expertise and your perspective on that. I just wanted to mention that the C4I4 organization club would lab, as well as the Industry 4.0 club, would like to encourage you to take action to advance the deployment of Industry 4.0. And that can be as simple as reading an article, attending a workshop, or developing a roadmap, or developing that strategy for the implementation of Industry 4.0. We'd like to know what actions you're taking, and of course, we have resources that you can look at also to help you. So, first of all, I just want to share that's the website for the C4I4 lab. So you can go to that lab and at that website and learn a lot about what the lab's doing, as well as get some very valuable information. And of course, then we also have the Industry 4.0 Club, our website, similar, lots of information available. And we'd love to hear from you and see what you're doing. So with that, Ankita, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I think pretty much you covered it, Mike. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in this podcast. And also, especially for the Indian audience, in case you are a manufacturer who wants to upscale your technology, or in case you want to get in touch with us, we are across 10 locations. You will get the details on the website. We are currently based out of Pune, so you can reach out to us through our LinkedIn page as well. So we'll be there for you. We are there by Ministry of Heavy Industry to support your digital journey, and we'll do everything to make your journey easier and better. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, for
Yeah,
collaborating with us. It's a great opportunity to talk to you and do this podcast series with you in in fashion. And we are going to have a very beautiful topics right ahead. So look forward to doing this.
great. Yeah, thank you, and
Thank you.
thank you, Krishna, as well. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a
All right,
privilege.
everybody, have a great rest of the day and rest of the week. Thank you.
Same to you. Have a nice day. Yeah.